Welcome back to the deep dive. Everyone knows Harry Potter, right?
Of course.
But have you ever stopped to think about all those little details in Sorcerer's Stone?
Oh, yeah, Sorcerer's Stone is like the foundation of the whole series.
Exactly. We're going deep today, unearthing those hidden gems about Harry's early life things you might have missed.
The stuff that makes you go, wait a minute, I never noticed that before.
For sure. So let's jump right in.
Sounds good.
Okay, first off, the Dursleys.
I mean,
Ugh, the Dursleys.
we're awful, right?
The worst.
But they're important, too.
Definitely, they represent like the opposite of the magical world.
Yeah, like boring and ordinary.
Totally. And forcing Harry to live with them, it just makes escaping to the wizarding world that much more magical.
Right. It's like that contrast makes us crave the magic even more.
It makes you wonder, though,
That's that.
do we all have a little bit of Dursley in us? You know, that part that resists anything out of the ordinary?
That's a good point. Like, we get so caught up in our routines.
Exactly, and we miss the magic that's right in front of us. Until something comes along and changes everything. Like Harry entering Diagon Alley for the first time.
Oh, man, Diagon Alley.
What a scene.
It's like sensory overload in the best way possible.
Goblins and wands and shops full of amazing things.
It's like stepping into a child's dream.
And don't forget the symbolism.
Oh, yeah. Diagon Alley isn't just a shopping district. It's a symbol of unlimited possibility.
It's that feeling of discovering something totally new and exciting.
Right. And it's there that Harry finds the most important thing in the entire series.
His wand.
Exactly. Ollivander says the wand chooses the wizard. But it's more than just a saying, isn't it?
Definitely. It's like magic chose Harry. He didn't choose magic.
And that connection between his wand and Voldemort's, sharing a phoenix feather core.
It's like their destinies are intertwined from the very beginning.
Exactly. It sets up this idea that we make choices, but sometimes fate has other plans.
Okay, so we've got this incredible world, a chosen one with a mysterious future, and then bam, Hogwarts.
Hogwarts, every kid's dream.
It's the ultimate symbol of belonging, you know, like finding your place where you're celebrated for who you are.
And that journey to Hogwarts, starting with Platform 9 through Quarters Otters.
Oh man, Platform 9 3/4.
It's like a transition, leaving the ordinary world behind and stepping into the extraordinary.
And Harry just craves connection, right? He's instantly drawn to the Weasleys.
Of course, they're the opposite of the Dursleys, warm and chaotic and loving.
Exactly, and they just accept Harry, no questions asked.
Especially Ron, he's not afraid of Voldemort at all.
It shows how resilient Harry is.
Even at 11 years old, he's already faced so much.
And then there's the Sorting Hat ceremony.
Oh, the Sorting Hat. Talk about a tradition.
But it's more than just getting sorted into a house. It's about self-discovery.
Right. The hat sees Harry's potential for both good and bad.
It hesitates for a moment, considering putting him in Slytherin.
Like Voldemort.
And that's when Harry makes a choice.
He chooses Gryffindor, the house of courage and chivalry.
He's rejecting the path Voldemort took.
It's a huge decision. It sets up the whole theme of choice versus destiny.
We all have choices to make paths to choose.
Sorcerer's Stone reminds us that those choices, even the small ones, they shape who we become.
So true. We might not have magical hats or wands.
But we all have those moments where we have to decide what we stand for.
And Sorcerer's Stone shows us that even those small choices can change everything.
They affect our own lives and the lives of those around us.
Well, Harry's made his choice, and he's officially at Hogwarts.
Can you imagine? Moving staircases ghosts the sheer size of the castle.
It's like a wonderland where anything is possible.
But even in this magical world,
There's conflict brewing,
of course, Hogwarts has its own hierarchies and rivalries.
like Charms class versus Potions class.
Oh yeah, Charms is all light and fun, but then there's Snape.
Snape is terrifying,
He's got it out for Harry from day one.
questioning his knowledge, taking points for no reason.
But we're seeing this all from Harry's perspective.
That's right. We don't know why Snape dislikes him so much.
It's like those people in our own lives who seem like antagonists.
But maybe there's more to their story than we realize.
It reminds us not to judge people based on first impressions.
Exactly. Everyone has their reasons, their own struggles.
And it's in this complex environment that Harry's friendships with Ron and Hermione start to grow.
They're the perfect trio.
Ron's loyalty, Hermione's intelligence, Harry's courage.
They balance each other out.
But of course, things can't stay peaceful forever.
Here comes the mystery of the Sorcerer's Stone.
Harry starts to suspect Snape.
And he's determined to stop him.
The stakes are high.
Mm.
Immortality, unimaginable power.
It all falls on Harry and his friends to protect the stone.
It's like a classic hero's journey, but with 11-year-olds.
But Rowling also weaves in those relatable coming-of-age themes.
Like friendship, loyalty, even jealousy and competition.
Exactly. Think about those challenges they face. Fluffy the Devils, Snare the Flying Keys.
It forces them to work together to rely on each other.
It's a reminder that we all need support systems.
People who have our backs when things get tough.
We can't always do everything on our own.
Sorcerer's Stone shows us that it's okay to ask for help.
And what about Dumbledore? He's this wise, almost mythical figure.
But he never gives Harry all the answers, does he?
No, he guides him, gives him nudges in the right direction.
He lets Harry make his own choices, face his own challenges.
He's the perfect mentor.
He believes in Harry, trusts him to learn from his mistakes.
It makes you think about the mentors in your own life.
The people who have shaped who you are today.
And speaking of important figures, let's not forget Hagrid.
Oh, Hagrid. He seems like a gentle giant.
But he plays a big role in the mystery of the stone.
He accidentally gives away the secret to getting past Fluffy.
Poor Hagrid. He always means well.
But that scene where he mentions music putting Fluffy to sleep.
Classic example of good intentions backfiring.
It reminds us that we all make mistakes.
Even the best of us.
It's what we learn from those mistakes that matters.
Okay, and then we get to one of the biggest twists in the book.
Professor Quirrell.
It turns out he's the one who's been trying to steal the stone.
That timid little defense against the dark arts teacher.
It's brilliant. Rowling makes us think he's harmless.
And then bam! He's possessed by Voldemort.
It's a masterclass in misdirection.
It shows how we judge people based on appearances.
Sorcerer's Stone teaches us to look deeper, question our assumptions.
Because things aren't always what they seem.
We all make snap judgments sometimes.
This book reminds us to be open-minded to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Because everyone has their own complexities.
And that brings us to the climax of the book.
The final showdown.
Harry versus Quirrell in the chamber where the stone is hidden.
11-year-old Harry against a powerful wizard possessed by Voldemort.
Talk about an epic battle.
But it's not just a physical fight.
It's a battle of wills, of courage, of love against hatred.
And it's love that protects Harry.
Quirrell can't even touch him without being burned.
Because of Lily Potter's sacrifice.
That's a moment that resonates throughout the entire series.
Love is the strongest magic of all.
It can conquer even the darkest forces.
It's a powerful message, especially in a world that often feels so divided.
Love, compassion, empathy, those are the forces that can change the world.
Sorcerer's Stone reminds us of that.
But it's not all about big battles and magical duels.
There are so many smaller moments that add depth to the story.
Those little details that make it so immersive.
They remind us that even in a magical world, life is made up of those small moments.
Those connections, those everyday experiences that shape who we are.
Like when Harry shares his sweets with Ron on the train.
Such a simple gesture.
But it shows his generosity, his empathy.
It's the start of a lifelong friendship.
And what about Harry's reaction to his first Christmas presents?
He's never experienced real love or kindness before.
It takes him a while to process those emotions.
It's a reminder of how much he's suffered with the Dursleys.
They deprived him of love and connection.
And when he enters the wizarding world, he's not just learning magic.
He's learning about compassion and empathy and what it means to have a family.
It's a beautiful thing to witness. So Harry's like diving headfirst into this whole mystery.
Yeah. He wants to protect the wizarding world, even though he's just a kid.
And the stakes are so high. Immortality power, I mean...
Right. It's all on Harry and his friends to stop the stone from falling into the wrong hands.
And they're just kids. It's like this classic hero's journey, but
with homework. And sex.
Exactly. And Rowling's so good at mixing that high-stakes adventure with, like...
But normal kid stuff?
Yeah. Friendship, loyalty, competition, you know?
Totally. Like, think about all those crazy challenges they face.
Oh, man. Fluffy, the three-headed dog.
The devils snare those flying keys.
It forces them to work together to rely on each other's strengths.
You know, it really shows the power of teamwork.
It does. And it makes you think about your own life, right? Like,
who do you rely on when things get tough?
exactly. We all need those support systems, those people we can count on.
We can't always do everything alone.
And Sorcerer's Stone reminds us that it's okay to ask for help.
It's a good lesson.
Yeah.
What about Dumbledore, though? He's like this...
wise old mentor figure.
Yeah. But he doesn't just give Harry all the answers.
No, he guides him, but he lets Harry make his own choices.
Yeah. He trusts Harry to figure things out, even if he makes mistakes.
He's a great example of what a mentor should be.
He believes in Harry, and that's so important.
It makes you think about the mentors in your own life, you
The
know?
people who have helped you along the way.
Exactly. The ones who saw your potential and pushed you to be your best.
Oh, and speaking of important figures, we can't forget about Hagrid.
Oh, Hagrid, he's such a sweetheart.
But he kind of messes things up sometimes.
Yeah, like when he accidentally reveals how to get past Fluffy.
He loves all creatures,
Yeah.
even a giant three-headed dog.
And it ends up backfiring on him.
But that scene where he mentions the music putting Fluffy to sleep,
This is the classic example of good intentions gone wrong.
it happens to all of us, right?
Actually, we all make mistakes.
It's how we learn from them that matters.
Exactly. And then we have that crazy twist where we find out,
About Professor Quirrell.
oh man, that seemingly harmless defense against the dark arts teacher.
Turns out he's the one trying to steal the stone.
I mean, Rowling totally tricked us. She made us think he was just,
A bumbling professor.
yeah. And then, bam, he's possessed by Voldemort.
It's such a good twist.
It makes you realize that we often judge people based on first impressions.
But Sorcerer's Stone is like, hold on a second. Things aren't always what they seem.
Exactly. We have to look deeper and question our assumptions.
Because people can surprise you.
And that brings us to the climax of the book, that final confrontation.
Oh, yeah. Harry versus Quirrell in the chamber with the stone.
Harry's just a kid, and he's facing a Voldemort-possessed wizard.
It's intense.
But it's not just about physical strength.
It's about willpower, courage, and the power of love.
And love is what protects Harry in the end.
Quirrell can't even touch him without getting burned.
It all goes back to Lily Potter's sacrifice.
It's a moment that echoes throughout the whole series.
This idea that love is the most powerful magic of all.
Yeah. It can overcome anything, even the darkest forces.
It's a powerful message for us all.
Especially in a world that sometimes feels so negative and divided.
Love, compassion, empathy. Those are the things that can truly make a difference.
Sorcerer's Stone really highlights those themes.
And it's not just about those epic battles and duels.
It's also about those smaller moments that make this story so special.
Those little details that make the world feel real and relatable.
They remind us that even in a magical world, life is made up of those small connections.
Those everyday experiences that shape who we are.
Like when Harry shares his sweets with Ron on the Hogwarts Express.
It's such a simple gesture, but
But it shows his kindness and generosity.
and it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Or how about when Harry gets his first Christmas presents?
He's never experienced that kind of love and generosity before.
And it's almost overwhelming for him.
It makes you realize how much the Dursleys deprived him.
Not just of material things, but of love and connection.
And when he enters the wizarding world, it's like he's finally learning what it means to have a family.
It's a powerful moment, for sure.
You know, it's amazing how those little details in Sorcerer's Stone, they can have such a big impact on the whole story.
They really do, and it makes you want to reread the book, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, totally. Like you start to notice things you didn't see before.
Like you get a whole new perspective.
Exactly. And those little details, they can foreshadow things that happen later in the series.
Like give us clues about what's to come.
For example, remember when Harry finds out he can talk to snakes?
Oh yeah, that's like a weird, quirky ability at first.
Right. But later we learn it's a sign of his connection to Voldemort.
Because of that piece of Voldemort's soul inside him, the Horcrux.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Suddenly that little detail becomes super important.
But what about the invisibility cloak? It's a cool gift, but
But it's more than just that, right?
yeah, it's like a symbol of his father, connection to his family.
And that note, use it well. It's like foreshadowing all the times Harry will use it to fight against darkness.
It's incredible how Rowling sets up all these little threads.
It's like she's weaving this intricate tapestry.
And it makes you wonder what else we've missed, even after reading the book a million times.
I know, it makes you want to go back and analyze every single word.
That's what makes Sorcerer's Stone so great, and the whole series, really.
It's a story that rewards you for paying attention, for thinking critically.
Speaking of themes, we've talked about a lot of big ones today.
Choice versus destiny. The importance of love and friendship. Good versus evil.
But there's another theme that stands out to me, rules and rule breaking.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. There are rules everywhere in the wizarding world.
From accidental magic to school regulations.
But Harry and his friends, they break the rules all the time.
Sometimes for good reasons, sometimes not.
Remember their midnight duel with Malfoy? Or sneaking out to see Hagrid?
Or that whole quest to protect the stone.
They're constantly pushing the boundaries, testing the limits.
But it's through those actions and the consequences that they learn and grow.
Right. It's not about breaking rules just for fun.
It's about questioning authority, thinking for yourself, doing what you think is right.
Even if it means going against the crowd.
It's something we all struggle with, right? Finding that balance.
Between following the rules and following your heart.
Sorcerer's Stone shows us that sometimes breaking the rules can lead to amazing things.
It can help you grow, discover who you are, and even save the world.
And it's not just the kids who break the rules.
Oh, yeah.
Dumbledore does it too.
He's like a master at bending the rules when he needs to. He understands that rules are important, but sometimes you have to break them for the greater good.
It's like he's playing this long game.
And we're just starting to understand his motivations.
He's always a few steps ahead, guiding Harry and his friends.
Without ever revealing all his secrets.
It makes him such an interesting character.
Full of mystery and intrigue.
Well, as we wrap up our deep dive today, it's clear that Sorcerer's Stone is more than just a children's book.
It's a story with layers upon layers of meaning.
And it's a story that stays with you long after you finish reading it.
It makes you think about your own choices, your own values.
It reminds us of the power of love and friendship.
And the importance of standing up for what you believe in.
So as we say goodbye, I want to leave you with one final thought.
What little detail in Sorcerer's Stone really stuck with you?
And how do you think it connects to the bigger picture?
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the magic of Harry Potter alive.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive, and we'll see you next time.